Modern men aren't being destroyed by war, poverty, or violence. They're being destroyed by the small habits they repeat every day, the seemingly harmless mistakes that quietly rob them of grit, presence, and the respect of others. You think you're strong? Think again. You might be making one of the 8 social mistakes I'm about to break down, and it could be dragging you down without you even realizing it. This isn't a feel-good video. It's a wake-up call. Direct, hard to swallow, but if you've got the balls to watch it through, you'll see one thing crystal clear. Fixing the problem or repeating it, both start with the choice you make right after this video. Before we begin, don't forget to subscribe and like if you're new here. It helps me keep bringing you more valuable content. One of the dumbest lines people use to justify their stagnation is, "I'm just being myself." It sounds deep, maybe even confident, but really it's the perfect shield for weakness, fear of change, and worst of all, laziness. When a man's told he speaks carelessly, dresses like he's unemployed, and acts without discipline, he doesn't stop to ask, "Is that true? Can I do better?" No, he spits out the usual line, "I'm just being myself." That line might as well mean, "Yeah, I know I'm a mess, but I don't care, and I'm not fixing it." A guy like that doesn't need enemies because he's already his own worst one. Being yourself isn't the problem, unless yourself is someone who refuses to improve. Most men aren't evolving. They're not learning, not leveling up. They hide behind being authentic so they don't have to face the truth. They're undisciplined, unrefined, and unremarkable. Then they wonder why nothing in their life changes. Why no one takes them seriously. Why others rise while they stay stuck. A grown man knows one thing for sure. Who I am today is only temporary. Every day he's evolving. Not to impress others, but so he can look in the mirror and hold his head high. So that when he sees himself, he sees a man he can respect, not a shadow hiding in the comfort zone of self-satisfaction. If you feel offended when someone says you need to change, that's a clear sign that you do. If you feel attacked when someone questions your choices, it probably means you've been living too soft for too long. So instead of saying, "I'm just being myself," try saying, "I'm becoming someone I'll be proud of." No one's asking you to be someone else, but if you're living without standards, without structure, without progress, then sorry, you're not being yourself. You're just surviving at the lowest level you're willing to tolerate. A man who lives with responsibility is never satisfied with who he is right now. He's harder on himself than anyone else could ever be. That's not insecurity, it's self-respect. And self-respect is the foundation of all value. Without it, you can go your whole life without being respected by anyone, including yourself. Men today talk more than they act. They think they're communicating, but really, they're just broadcasting nonsense. Like Facebook is real life, and everyone around them is just the audience for their personal "I'm the victim" show. They talk about feelings, but there's no depth. They rant about problems, but offer no solutions. They gossip like a bunch of bored high schoolers, instead of choosing their words with purpose, precision, and weight. Every time they open their mouth, they lower their value, and the worst part? They don't even realize it. The world doesn't need you to talk more. It needs you to speak clearly, speak with purpose, and speak with direction. Every word you say is a blade. It can be sharp and cut through, or dull and pathetic, earning nothing but contempt. Most men today don't speak like warriors. They talk like they're chasing reactions on social media. A sympathy like, a pity care emoji for their latest breakdown. Pathetic. Don't bring your online tone into the real world. Out here, people watch your actions, your presence, your energy. No one respects the guy who constantly begs to be understood and felt. A real man doesn't need others to understand him. He makes it impossible not to respect him. To do that, you need to learn how to speak with gravity. Start by saying less. When you speak less, every word has to matter more. A wise man never speaks just to fill the silence. He speaks to make impact. You also need to learn to listen, not to react, but to understand, to observe, to read people. The man who listens well holds the upper hand in every conversation. The man who talks too much loses control and doesn't even know it. Finally, Train your calm. When you can speak without yelling, without drama, without padding your words, you're sending a message. I'm strong enough not to convince you. I just say what's right. Real men don't talk like they're writing a sad status begging for attention. They speak like men who command their own life. What about you? There's a smile men overuse so much it's painful to watch. The polite smile. Smiling to please. Smiling to avoid conflict. Smiling to fit into dull conversations they don't care about. And worst of all, smiling because they don't know what else to do with their face. Sounds minor, but this is one of the clearest signs of a man who doesn't control his emotions. A guy who smiles all the time, everywhere, even when it's not necessary, is a guy who's lost command over his own expression. And once you lose control of your face, you lose your presence. In communication, your expression isn't something to toss around. It's a tool. It delivers more than words ever can. But today's men are told to be friendly, approachable, nice, and they confuse that with smiling all the damn time. The result? Men with fake faces, awkward grins, trying to please everyone, and no one respects them. Smiling at the wrong time is a sign of insecurity. Work with successful people and you'll notice one thing. They smile less. They don't use expressions to entertain. They use presence to assert power. When they smile, it means something. It's never wasted. A well-timed smile can diffuse conflict, but a badly timed one can destroy your credibility. In a serious conversation, if you smile out of discomfort, you just downgraded your image. In a negotiation, if you smile to gain favor, you just handed over leverage. In everyday life, if you keep smiling when nothing's funny, you're sending this message. I fear conflict. I fear being disliked. I'll trade away my strength just to keep things comfortable. Sound familiar? Here's the fix. Bring your face back to neutral. Practice a composed expression. Not angry, not scowling, just firm and calm. Let people wonder what you're thinking. Don't smile so they can read you like a book. And if you do smile, make sure it's a choice, not a reflex. Men weren't born to be cute. We were built to be respected. And no one respects a clown. If this video made you think, hit like now. Comment below, how have you applied Stoicism in your life? Stoic success, unbreakable mindset, total control. You don't need anyone to spell it out. Just open Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. Men today stare into the camera more than they stare at their own damn life goals. They're tweaking their skin tone, whitening teeth, flexing jawlines, striking poses in the mirror like life's an audition for some cheap reality show. Every selfie whispers the same desperate plea. Please, look at me. Selfies aren't evil, but when they become a habit, a need, a tool to validate your existence, you've already handed over part of your masculinity. A man with purpose, discipline, and direction doesn't need to show up in the camera every day. He's too focused building something to worry about curating the perfect angle. He lives in a way that makes people want to photograph him, not in a way that needs constant proof he exists. And the irony? The more selfies you take, the more invisible you become. Same angles, same poses, same fake expressions. You become another copy-paste avatar in a sea of digital clones. What you call expressing personality is just calculated desperation, trying to survive in the algorithm with a curated identity that says nothing real about who you are. Don't kid yourself by saying you just want to capture the moment. You know damn well most of those moments are just excuses to show off, to chase attention, to live through compliments. No one takes endless selfies to preserve memories. They do it for likes. And a man who lives on likes is a man slowly dying independence. Try going a full month without a selfie. You'll find yourself focusing on what actually matters. How you live, how you work, how you face the world through action, not filters. You'll realize that time could be used to train, to study, to build your strength. And you'll be shocked when you see it. When you stop trying to look strong, you actually become strong. A real man doesn't need to constantly appear. He builds enough impact that he doesn't need to post nonstop, speak nonstop, or shoot nonstop. Instead of striking poses, strike with purpose. Instead of posting a story, live a story worth repeating. The world doesn't need to see you in the lens. It needs to feel your presence in real life. One of the quickest ways to tell if a man's worth a damn is to listen to how he talks. Not his vocabulary, not his grammar, but the content, the topics he chooses, the tone he uses, and why he's saying it in the first place. Most men today waste their time in conversations that bring zero value. They gossip like their lives are one never-ending sidewalk coffee session. They dissect celebrity drama, trash-talk people behind their backs, laugh at cheap jokes, and argue about who's right or wrong in shows they have zero connection to. That's garbage. And if you keep wading into it, your mind becomes a trash heap too. Here's the brutal truth. Men weren't born to consume meaningless content. We were born to create impact. And no one making real impact spends their time in dead-end conversations. Every time you join in on some aimless chatter, you're digging a shallow grave for your own depth. People will remember you as the funny guy, but no one will take you seriously when it counts. You'll be good at making small talk, but never trusted to lead. You'll have lots of casual friends, but no real presence in anyone's life. Think mature men don't need to refine their speech? Think again. One sentence can connect you with high-value people. One careless comment can erase every shot you had at something bigger. A smart man chooses his words. He speaks with purpose. He knows when to shut up, and when he talks, people stop and listen. Not because he's loud, but because he's rare. The fix isn't to stay silent forever. It's to choose the room. If you're surrounded by people who whine, envy, and judge, silence is your best move. But if you want to speak, find people with depth. Elevate the conversation. Don't lower yourself to fit the noise. No man ever became powerful by talking too much, but plenty have lost their presence because they didn't know when to shut their damn mouth. A man walks into a room. Before he says a word, people already feel who he is. Not because of fame, not because of money, but because of presence. And that presence is built from two simple things: how he dresses and how he carries himself. Sadly, these are the two things modern men neglect the most. They dress like they're heading to bed. They walk like they're hoping not to be noticed. They stand like they have no spine. They sit like life has no direction. And then they wonder why no one takes them seriously, why in a crowd they always fade into the background. You don't need designer clothes, but you do need to dress with intent. The pants you wear, the shirt you pick, the shoes on your feet, they're all sending messages. The question is, are you controlling the message, or is your outfit betraying you every single day? A man who knows his worth never dresses carelessly. Not to flex, but to show self-respect. Clothes don't make the man, but they reveal the level of discipline and awareness he has about his own image. And don't say you don't care about appearances. Everyone judges you the second they see you. That's reality. Whether you accept it or not is up to you. As for body language, it speaks louder than anything you'll ever say. Head down, arms crossed, cracking your knuckles, scratching your head, you're broadcasting insecurity. Slouched shoulders, bouncing your leg, avoiding eye contact. It screams lack of control. But when you walk with your back straight, eyes forward, each step firm, sitting strong and silent when it counts, you don't have to introduce yourself. The world will take notice. Want to change your image? Don't start with your words. Start with your posture. The way you stand, shake hands, walk into a room, each one is a silent declaration. I'm here, and I'm solid enough to be seen. Train it. No one taught you this in school, but you can learn it through observation, through the mirror, through being conscious of every move you make. You can't control what others think of you, but you can absolutely control how you show up. And if you're a man, that's not optional. That's your job. Nothing kills self-respect faster than the habit of making excuses. And nothing makes a man look weaker than trying to explain why he failed. Every time you say, "It's because," you hand over your power to your circumstances. Real men don't make excuses. They own their mistakes. They take responsibility. They don't need to win every argument. But they're always the last one standing when it's time to clean up a mess. That's strength. Excuses? That's the luxury of boys who never grew up. Today you see it everywhere. Late to work, traffic was crazy, bad results, my boss didn't support me, out of shape, I'm too busy, broke. the economy sucks. Single. Women are materialistic now. There's always something out there they'll cling to like a life raft for their own mediocrity. Listen, if you always need a reason not to do the right thing, you'll always find one. Society has an endless supply of excuses waiting for you, but not one of them will move you forward. A grown man knows, not everything is his fault, but everything is his responsibility. Because if you're not carrying your own life, who is? No one, and no one should. Every time you take responsibility instead of shifting blame, you get stronger. You rebuild your will, you reclaim your authority. Don't confuse owning your mistakes with weakness. It takes massive courage and inner discipline. A man who can say, "I was wrong," is a man who has already conquered the small, petty ego inside him. And only after you conquer that do you start rising for real. Still feel the urge to justify everything? Ask yourself, what exactly am I trying to protect? True honor doesn't need defending with words. It's proven by how you face consequences. A man doesn't have to be right all the time, but he damn sure has to be accountable. We're living in a strange time where attention is mistaken for achievement. A viral clip, a shirtless selfie, a reckless stunt in public, and boom, you're famous. But here's the truth no one tells you. Being noticed is not the same as being respected. Attention is cheap. You can buy it with drama, with gimmicks, by selling out your dignity just to shock people. But respect? That's expensive, and it only goes to those who live with principles, depth, and discipline. If you're a real man, you choose the latter. Too many people believe that if others are watching them, caring about them, they must matter. So they chase visibility, not realizing they're burning through their credibility in the process. You might be the talk of the room today, but if tomorrow people tune you out, or worse, shake their heads when you show up, that's the price of confusing spotlight with substance. A man with backbone doesn't seek attention, he builds influence. He might not be seen every day, might not be loud, but when it matters, he shows up, says the right thing, the right way, and people shut up and listen. That kind of power doesn't come from social media. It comes from years of silently building yourself. When no one's watching, when there's no applause, and when you're not begging to be seen. Do you want to stand out or matter? The guy who stands out is a flash, bright for a second, then gone. The man who matters is a slow burn, steady, solid, reshaping the whole damn room without making noise. So stop chasing the look. Start building something worth listening to, worth respecting, worth remembering, even in silence. No one remembers the clown forever, but people never forget the man who walked with purpose, lived by values, and didn't need a stage to be seen. Choose respect. Don't be a puppet, dancing in the light. This world doesn't owe you respect. It doesn't owe you a fair shot. You're not judged by your intentions. You're judged by how you live, how you carry yourself, and how you stay composed in a chaotic society. These 8 mistakes aren't a checklist. They're a mirror. If you looked through them and didn't see yourself anywhere, you're lying to yourself. But if you had the guts to look, admit, and commit to change, you're already ahead of 90% of men out there. You don't need to be perfect, but you do need standards. You need principles. You need to know when to speak, when to shut up, and when to let your actions do the talking. The world won't slow down while you figure it out. It will crush you if you can't carry your own weight. So if you're not going to start changing today, then when? Thank you for being here. If you found this video helpful, subscribe, turn on notifications, and like this video. Don't forget to leave a comment so we can spread positivity together.